Hello, hi Avery. Can you let me know how the audio is? Can you hear me? Can you hear the game? Is anything too loud, too quiet? Let me know. Audio's good? Can't tell you how the audio is, can't hear you. Oh, that's so curious. How'd you know I was asking? Welcome, Aramla. No! Yeah, that emote was indeed approved. Can use it now. Oh, my life. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. I remembered to save! So we won't have to waste time going through it again. February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. Solved with non-sub emotes. Oh, pain. It's okay. There should still be quite a few of those, right? Assuming that Twitch did it correctly and the free ones are actually free to use. This is the defendant lobby, alright. But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Oh, that was Edgeworth. Edgeworth! Knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. You don't say. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. Also, if you stream like this, you indeed can't work, so stop complaining. Well, yeah, but I was trying to work this morning. But I can't. So, you know, it kind of sucks, because that means I'm gonna have to, like, cram all my work into the next couple of days. Assuming that they'll let me work. What's the story behind the Discord status? Dropbox is being a dumpster fire again. Just the usual. And all my work stuff is on Dropbox, so I can't work. Hi, Kimono! Same story as last time? Exactly. It's just, you know, work things. How are you, Kimono? You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. You're Aw, well that's not good. I hope it improves, you know? I hope the becomes a what is like... The only thing I could think of is heh, but I don't know if that's any better. But I hope it gets better. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. A yippee? Yeah, a yippee? We'll go with that, yes. Of course. 5 minutes, right? And Chief Prosecutor Scott will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. I'm sorry who kept bringing up DL6 last case because it wasn't me. It was literally everyone else. Phoenix did bring it up a couple times, but that was after. Most of the time it's like, wait, my dad, wait, from Edgeworth. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. Before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant! Who let you in? Morning, folks! How's everyone doing? Hey, Aji, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. That's not a proposal, that's a request. Yeah. He's like, hey, come on, you should. Please? What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Wait? Wait for what? Why are we waiting? I am waiting. Why is he making that request instead of her lawyer? That's a good question. Probably because she didn't tell us anything. She doesn't talk to us. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. He's no way at all qualified to make requests on behalf of the defendant. This is true, but also, like, he's the only one she's apparently going to talk to, because she sure isn't gonna talk to us. We gotta go home early, but perfect win streak. No, Lana. Objection! You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. A request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. We will lose the winning streak in a certain other case anyway, so who cares? I care! I care! Percentage matters! Shh! It's fine! Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening! It appears that the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Objection! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth! The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Kent. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant. I mean, if Edgeworth has taught us anything, it's that you can still be a highly regarded lawyer without ever winning. This is true, but Edgeworth won a lot more in the past. Also, hi Manga Dude, welcome, how are you? Edgeworth had, like, previous win streak. It's just until Phoenix showed up, and now he's losing to Rookie Phoenix, but, you know, Rookie Phoenix gotta keep it up. It's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal. Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh? To whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony.
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. You don't think we need to continue?
I don't care what you think, Miss Skye.
Dang.
The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Edgeworth has finally got himself a backbone. I'm proud of him, you know? He's been through a lot. He's growing. Character development. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant?
Worthy. You'll live to regret this, mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Ooh, there she is.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer, Joe Dark, of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. Being a sister is not an occupation. I think she listed everything except her occupation, which should be student.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial.
Let's go.
2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. What's your occupation? Well, my favorite movie, Spider-Man. I like beach holidays. I have 2 siblings, and I like cycling. Yes. All together, those make your occupation. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Alright, I guess we press everything. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. I had spicy noodles for lunch, so my throat is kind of messed up, but you know, we're vibing. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. Noodles mess your throat up? If they're really spicy, they do, yeah?
I believe they shared the same office.
That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. No, Emma, that's your sister's occupation. Tough. I wanted to play it that day, too.
The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. I can handle spicy food, but if it's really spicy, it does mess my throat up. Asian stereotype. I mean, it's true. I can. Like, it doesn't hurt me in terms of, like, stomach pain or anything. It just messes my throat up. A man. Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky at Gant's office.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Crazy Dragoon Mistress, hi, thank you for the head pat. How are you? Oh, is my sound redeem not working? And thank you for the hydrate and stretch. No, you be. Alright, hang on. Let me see if I can fix that. Oh, wait. There it is. It's just lagging. Gotta give your favorite squishy some love. Aw, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. What was the prosecutor doing there? You're alright? That's good to hear. Alright is good.
That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Almost forgot about Gant.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. What does my Twitch recap look like? Oh, I posted it to Twitter. But I can post it in the Discord when I'm done with streaming. I do have it, though. I don't remember the numbers, but I did see it.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't clearly remember what happened then. Runs to Twitter? Yeah, it should be like one of my most recent posts on my VTuber account. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. My Twitter profile picture is awesome? Yes, I agree, thank you. I got it commissioned by Yezukao. They should be credited on my profile. Go check them out. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. I did not draw it myself, no. I got it commissioned. The lights. It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? If you're a really good artist, why commission stuff? Because I like other people's art. I don't want to just draw myself all the time. I want to see other people draw me too. And if I can support artists by commissioning them, I will. Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. The stats are statistics from the channel, not my personal ones? They're my statistics as a streamer, not as a viewer. Is that what you're asking? Detective Bruce Goodman. Yeah, those are from, like, my streams.
So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw?
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. Yeah, I didn't post my viewer one, but I have that one too. 90 new followers, 86 followers. I guess they round up, you know? They gotta round it up. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? No, of course not. This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. Pictures of Spider-Man? Maybe. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Hold it. I have a picture. Turn this around. This. Picture's drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. I've got a very bad feeling about this. Okay, that didn't update anything, but maybe I can just present it anyway? Alright, cool. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? She's right, that really isn't a good picture. She tried, you know, she tried. Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What is this? Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew!
She put her heart into it? I'm not too sure about that. Hey, you know, some people can't draw people, and that's fine. People are hard. Indeed, 2 men appear to be wrestling here. Wrestling? What is the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Ah? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. 2 stick figures, one of whom is holding a rat. Not sure how that's... I mean, you know, it could potentially be something, maybe. We don't know. Gotta figure it out. Gotta mathematize. These 2 lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in the case ever reached you. What? What? Order, order. But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Dang. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor, are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. That's such a stupid conclusion. It's real tough. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. Which he never noticed once during all his time on the case. He was too busy looking at the front. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. Both the sound as Wright's eyes pop out of his head. I think Edgeworth's are popping out more though. It returns! It's back! That's that thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room! You can't escape, there is truly no escape. Clearly, this is an act of vandalism in the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Oh no, it's playing twice! Ooh, evidence list. can still hear the redeem. There's no escape. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Double trouble! Oh my gosh, there it goes again.
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. It turns out there's no cooldown. Yeah, I did not set a cooldown. Who's joining me in the Ultimate Blue Badger medley? Everyone, apparently. I could set a cooldown next time. Didn't think people would be redeeming it all at once. An oversight, truly. Emma's picture.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh, really? Really? You can tell. You know exactly who those stick figures are, huh? The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay. I mean, it's a logical conclusion. It's true, but it's not super clear. Logically, it makes sense, but it's not 100% certain. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue.
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor?
Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? That's his big problem, that it's all black. Maybe she just didn't have colored markers, man. You think they have colored markers at the police station? You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture
shows exactly what I saw. Okay. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course, this is the exact scene.
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. You saw 2 chimps with bald heads holding a stick in one hand, bullying each other. Tragic.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well. That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Now I want to see your attempt at the drawing, but then actually trying to make it look good. Maybe someday. We'll see. Okay, so this is a picture. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. What do I... Contradiction. I mean, that doesn't look like a knife, but... it also doesn't show the people. But is there any way for me to, like, show that? I guess I could try the knife. Nope, alright. Huh. What knowledge do we have about the incident? We've got... well, the case file is this. The perpetrator, crime, sentence, the victims, prosecutor and witnesses, that stuff. Got a photo, a piece of cloth. Stabbed in the back? Oh, maybe this? Because it's not in his back. This is definitely the front. Try that. There we go, okay. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. I was wondering if we had the evidence for it. I see. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Okay, it's either the facing the front or the knife coming down in the front. This? Maybe? No? Oh! Vicky, thank you so much for the raid! Hi, guys! Is my raid notification not working either? My gosh, my stream stuff is so broken. But how are you guys? How was your stream? Thank you so much for the raid! I'm good! How are you guys? Welcome. Let me give you a shout out. Oh, you sent them, you moderate? Thank you so much, Crazy Dragoon Mistress. I appreciate it. Does this work? Let me see. Alright, there we go. Please go check them out. Thank you so much. Stream went well. What were you guys doing? I'm good. I'm a little stumped at the moment. I'm trying to figure this out, but we're gonna get there. I played this game before, I promise. Alright. I'm gonna try this, because they're facing forward, and they shouldn't be. Just target the person, right? I think it's, this part here. Okay, that doesn't sound promising. I don't see what's so strange about that. That's because the drawing stinks! Oh, Phoenix! Phoenix, you can't be saying that! Phoenix, please! Okay. What? Okay. Phoenix, so mean! Alright, we'll try this one. Take that! Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. I also have goldfish memory. I feel that. That's the contradiction. Apparently so. I guess we'll see the explanation. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. Are we ahead with the hole stabbed in the back part? That's a good question. I feel like we shouldn't be. Maybe they just think it's like the knife is more obvious. Maybe. Perhaps. Oh no. We disconnected. Nar. We were doing so well. Oh, are we back? Are we back? Oh gosh, okay. I highly recommend they play Hogwarts Legacy, Pokemon, Mario Kart, and a plethora of others. Ooh, let's go. Alright, I'm gonna... Thank you so much for the follow, Vicky. We'll follow back. And... Let's see, are we back? I think so. My stream. I don't know why OBS died for a second there. Pain. Alright. Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. I'm back, yes. Stream died. Yeah, I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi, because it says poor network connection, but I have full bars, so I don't know what's wrong. But I think things are fine now. I hope. We'll see, I guess. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Objection! Switch to cable? I don't have an Ethernet cable. I do not have one, alas. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Oh, I see. So it's because the knife was blunt. I see. Yippee! Oh yeah, the first redeem is reset. Also, Amazon, it doesn't matter because our Wi-Fi router is really, really far from my room. So I need to get a really long cable, and we have rabbits, and they like to chew on cables, so it's just not gonna work. Unfortunate, but true. Ah! What is the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. Oh, you missed why wouldn't it work? The Wi-Fi router's too far from my room. We have rabbits that chew on cables. And yeah, it's just impractical solution, unfortunately. Because we can't move the router, and we can't move my room. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. Get two cables and eat the rabbits? No, I refuse. How could you? That's evil. I love my bunnies. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time. But she was sure she remembered correctly. Have I ever eaten rabbit? No, and I don't want to. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ugh. Can we get bunny pics in the future? Absolutely. I can post them in the Discord after stream. Order, order, order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark.
It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there's a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. What I did is I'm in the same situation. I got a wireless Wi-Fi extender and I connected that to another Wi-Fi extender and then connected that to my PC via Ethernet cable. Huh. Wi-Fi extender. I will have to look into that. Does that mean you have bunnies too, or do you have some other pet that will munch on cords? But I will look into that, thank you. If I can get it to where, like, it's not just one long cable from my room to the router, that might work.
That's true. And there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being 2 broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? They won't let me look at the evidence list. I don't think there could be another knife. No, I think Emma's mistaken. Broken knives don't just grow on trees. There's no way there was another one. Well, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, I believe the witness must be mistaken. I knew it. You really don't believe me. Oh, whoops, was that the... That flash of lightning burned an unforgettable image in her mind. One that's been torturing her ever since. There's no way Emma could be mistaken. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. Alright then. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Hello, the otaku dude. I'm doing good. How are you? Oh, thank you so much for dropping by, Vicky. I hope you have a good rest after your stream. Thank you so much for the raid again. Murder weapon. Real murder weapon. This one? Oh, this is your favorite Capcom game? Let's go. I also love Ace Attorney. Okay, that one doesn't have the knife, so I guess it has to be the picture. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the awards ceremony. Oh, this is a picture of the awards ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon.
You also watch the English bloopers in the anime on YouTube? Oh, I've seen, like, clips of it, yeah. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. It has bad words, Pain. I mean, I'm not surprised, frankly. But, you know. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from that award. Order, order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded the King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. I'm surprised they gave him a trophy that could be dismantled like that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like, is the K not attached to the knife? It's a little strange.
But that can't be.
Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, you're good, super excited for Christmas? That's good. That's good. Do you have anything planned? We're just excited for, you know, the holiday season and stuff.
Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed.
What do you mean?
I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Oh.
Oh!
Christmas feast includes alcoholic drinks. Ooh, have fun. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here?
Phoenix, you didn't notice? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. I am half Korean. So yes, technically. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth.
What is it?
Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list?
The one with that picture scribbled on the back.
Scribbled?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
Nader!
1 year of Itaewon's Halloween party? I believe I know what you're talking about. Yes. Maybe.
What?
You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
You don't say.
All this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Worried about the Koreans there, and Shibuya officials canceled Halloween because they don't want the same to happen to South. I mean, that makes sense, yeah. It was pretty bad. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Canceled this year and also canceled New Year's countdown to 2024 in Shibuya too. Dang. I mean, it's up to them, I guess. That's a lot, though. Any plans for Christmas? We're gonna meet up with our family, I think a few days after, because our aunt and uncle that live in a different state are visiting. And then I'm doing like a separate Christmas party with my cousins. What about you?
Objection!
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year.
I think that's a typo. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Stop, please! Don't pursue this any further. Lana, what is the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this! I've already confessed to the crime! Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Sky.
You forgot to use the objection sound redeem to have the perfect exact timing. Oh, I'm sure you'll have many other opportunities, don't worry. Sounds like fun? Yes, always. I do like meeting with my family. Plans for big Christmas dinner? I don't know, actually. I don't know what our food plans are, because we're gonna be doing it at, it's not at our house, so we're not in charge of food. We might bring, like, sides, but I don't know what the main dish is gonna be.
We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of this matter. All right. Sorry, I was reading that message. Ryan Griffin. I don't know who that is. Apologies, I kind of live under a rock. But I am glad you feel that way. He's from Family Guy? I see. I've never watched Family Guy. No, we're not eating our rabbits. That's evil. Stop. Not my babies. Exactly. That is precisely how I feel, Avery. Okay, I panicked. I think I knocked away the man with the knife, just then there was another nice one. Okay. Press this. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here.
But it was the chief of detectives who thought of this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable.
Blame Mojang to have rabbit meat in Minecraft? Pain. I mean, I know people eat it, I just don't want to eat it myself, you know? I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember.
Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion.
Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing?
He wasn't in the room, but I saw his shadow.
His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face, with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, then by all means, please tell us what the shadow really was.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? I know. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright!
In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike.
Where's the pot?
Take that! The mysterious blue badger was, in fact, this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint. I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Okay. So double blue badger. That's 3K points down the drain in one stream. Blue Badger is worth it, surely. I hate that they need this to be, like, perfect. Is this not accurate enough for you, game? I like how japchae is similar to pancit here in the Philippines. Ooh, is it? I've never had that before. I know what japchae is, though, so I can imagine. You need to present it, and I think this is good. Oh, okay. That makes sense. This isn't right. No! Allow me to remind the defense, its case hinges on the witness's drawing. Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew. We cannot accept this claim.
Gotta find just the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more or horizontally? Chop change of the short and version. Oh, really? Do a backflip. Okay. Why are the controls H, N, B, and M? That's what I want to know. I don't like that. Does that look... That looks good, right? Aha. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger.
No. It can't be.
Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this...
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You ate it for breakfast from 7-Eleven in partnership with Romantic Boy. It means pig and tongue up. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I am learning. You see, this changes everything.
Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar?
Learn Southeast Asian languages? Yes. I should. But, you know. What changes now that we know the witness saw the jar? That's a good question. I guess this. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. I legit don't know this. I picked the one that makes the most sense, but it still doesn't really make sense. So, we're letting Phoenix carry this. At a very specific
angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself.
Yes, and it's these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. There's a Korean actor who hosts Philippine TV shows and appears on Philippine movies and shows. Oh, really? Dang, they're everywhere.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. You know what that reason was, Mr. Wright. I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. Pongy Hugs Home. Huh. Ryan Bang. I've never heard of him. But I also don't know very many actors to begin with, so that's not surprising. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah!
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes. There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I could go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Ooh. Graphic.
You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No!
Welp. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Tark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. Dang, Edgeworth. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? Philippines love Korean entertainment. I don't like my home country's entertainment because my only Asian entertainment is Japanese, like anime. That's fair. Everyone has their preferences. I don't really watch, like, Korean shows either. I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. You certainly can't get dead people to testify. Maya, where are you? This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Surely it is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright! Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek: the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Okay. If I recall correctly, it's probably this one. This is the message left by the deceased.
This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name?
That thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here. On the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar.
It looked like someone wiped the blood away.
Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines.
Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent.
No!
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Okay. Wow! It's so perfect! It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Why didn't we just use the luminol?
Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind.
Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye.
Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Kent, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not?
I also don't listen to K-pop. No, I don't. If my siblings turn it on, like, I'll hear it, but I don't go out of my way to listen to it. I do like K-rock, though. But I don't listen to that super actively either.
Ah! Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Any song over K-pop, I also prefer that. Yes. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice?
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
What's going on in the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, 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 order! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Yippee! We will indeed save, but we're gonna keep going. February 25th, 12:06. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
Don't worry about it.
Remember when you said last week you wanted it that stream? Yeah, I was way too, like, I didn't realize there was so much left.
This is my problem, not yours.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. You said you were, I was a bit optimistic. Yeah, you were right. I fully admit it. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. That's so cute. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day.
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him. This stupid plot device. Tough. Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Let's go. Let's take a look at evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. And Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. That's fine. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh?
Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me.
Mr. Edgeworth. There are only 2 rules to evidence. No wonder they keep getting false evidence. This is so true.
The real trial today hasn't begun yet.
What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 12:52, District Court, Courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions.
Thank you for the news, Your Honor.
Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have,
struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses?
I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and...
Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution.
A solution?
That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses.
What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness.
Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over.
The defense calls. The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Well, take that! Bring the swimmer. Damon Gant, The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it.
As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand.
Let's go. He's back. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh?
Please, Mr. Gant.
Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police.
Now then, Chief Gant. The court requests to hear your testimony.
Oh, righto. What's with a grim face?
First, let's clear up this SL9 incident.
Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already.
There are still some things unaccounted for.
Oh, like what?
Like the role you played in all of this.
Ooh. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish.
Thank you for the alert, the otaku dude.
You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Foolish. Foolish fools.
Weapons?
Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. He's pleading the fifth. Most definitely foolish.
What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify.
Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial.
First of all, that's because police officers don't get special protection. They definitely shouldn't. This stuff is supposed to be fair for all.
Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you.
Second of all, I can't believe I didn't notice this before, but he has pink glasses. He's very stylish. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. The SL9 incident.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery.
Then why did we find the stuff in your safe?
Sus.
Is that when Dark was arrested?
Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma said Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head.
I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Surely that doesn't mean I'll get punished for pressing. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day.
Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it.
So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? Wasn't there a case in the game in which you only get one chance to press or present something, and if you fail, it's game over? There definitely is. I don't remember which trial it is. Yeah, I can't remember either, but there definitely was something like that.
That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went through his heart, though.
That's not funny.
Is it the case with the fake detective who keeps shouting Smarty? Oh, Luke Abby. I love Luke Abby. He's so silly.
Maybe it is, though. That might be.
Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done.
How can you know that?
Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor.
Yes.
Anyway...
so you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. Removing a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances.
Is that how it really went down?
Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record.
Welcome back, the otaku dude.
Worthy. Always the smooth talker.
But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I gotta link Gant to the incident. Surely it's like the piece of evidence that we found in his locker? Let's see. There's this. Found in Chief Gant's safe. And then there's this. Give me this. Hey. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? What's that? What's that on it? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please.
I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Rido, don't you know the second rule of evidence law?
Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law.
Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial?
It appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence.
Bruh.
Okay, I got it. The pot. For K-dramas here in the Philippines, there are Filipino voice actors dubbing K-dramas in Tagalog for airing on Philippine TV. Same goes to anime, but I'm mostly Japanese audio with English subtitles. Oh, interesting. I also prefer sub over dub. I feel. Okay. That's a claim you can't back up.
Explain yourself.
Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this?
Whoa. Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy.
So you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery?
Who, me? Or do you mean you?
Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Also, I've just committed theft and illegally obtaining evidence, but let's ignore that. Hey, they don't have to know. They don't have to know. Gumshoe was already fired. There's been enough punishment.
Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Rido? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
I wonder why English dub voice actors should voice anime cartoons and video games based on their race or color of their skin. For example, ProZD, half Korean should voice Asian characters. I mean, I feel like if the voice actor is versatile enough and they can, like, bring the character to life without, you know, like, any big glaring issues, it's fine. But yeah, it does make sense. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work.
Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
He's been voice acting non-Asian characters for a long time now. Is it possible to, like, tell, though? I'm not actually familiar with a lot of his work, but, like, can you tell that he's not, like, is it glaringly obvious that it's not the right race? Evidence and forgery.
Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol.
You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Ooh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't be making the same mistake again.
My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know.
All right, Udgy. In return, though...
I know. That place, right?
Huh?
What are these guys, what are these guys, telepathic?
I have seen a video of him and his mom saying Korean words on YouTube.
Interesting.
Okay. Can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. Can we, though? What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery.
I'm not through speaking yet, Rido. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered.
Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation?
It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced.
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient?
Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Tell me something I don't know. Also, can't believe I've never asked this, but what's your favorite case from the series? I don't know if I have just, like, one singular case that I really liked, because I like how all of them connect, you know? The way they all add up at the end, that's what I really like.
Come now, Rido, think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery.
How could you look me in the eye and say that?
Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil?
I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye.
Well, now do you see?
Do you have any cases you least favorite? Never mind, the high school case exists. I forgot that for a second. That one, yeah, but I don't know if, like, I don't know, the circus one, that one really just, like, brain deaded me. Really, Chief Gant. At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Yeah, the circus one from the second game. It was pain. That one made me suffer.
Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh.
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive.
Ho, 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 ho! Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes. I was going to be made chief anyway.
Gah!
Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at.
Spica Cape magically floated onto a bus at a stupid clown that makes no one laugh, and a puppet that wants to marry a girl, which is wrong on so many levels. It was definitely one of the wilder cases. I was like, huh? Throughout the whole thing.
So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself. Then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Udgy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little?
By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Huh. Nothing in it for you.
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy.
Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Lana, no. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well, then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Take that! Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this?
He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
Bro!
Oh wait, you must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her.
Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
You're still here, CJ. You'll be doing truck missions for us. Oh, have fun! I appreciate you staying, though. What?
Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture.
Unless this is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman.
Let me guess you never played Rockstar Games Grand Theft Auto? Never.
The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. Oh wait, this case started with a murder on Goodman. We forgore. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that,
but the chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? I mean, with all due respect to I'd completely forgotten that the dude died. He's the least memorable victim in the series. Honestly, yeah, there's just so much else going on that he kind of just falls into the background, and it's like, oh yeah, that happened.
Order, order, order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible.
Impossible? No.
Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edwards said in easier-to-understand language.
It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now.
Looks like he's the one who's deciding to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question.
Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. Alright then, let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Surely it's the list? The 77777777? This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 77777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. Oh yeah? Phoenix, you need glasses.
It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 77777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list.
Thankfully, the killer has such an easy-to-remember code, and he uses it for his safe, too.
Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Also, can we just point out if the safe code was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we wouldn't have gotten him. This is so true. We only got him because he decided to use his ID as the safe code.
What do you have to say?
Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright to be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card.
Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Also, this doesn't really prove anything. According to that logic, there will be a lot of officers to whom belong the ID card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I guarantee more people use that as a code. This is true. But he is sweating, and he is acting really sus, and it's kind of proving our point. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. Gant, please. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. The judge is right. For once. The only goal is to prove Lana Sky's innocence? I mean, technically, yes. Phoenix just happens to get the guilty people in the courtroom every single time. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. That's the main issue with this game from a legal standpoint. You can't just convict a random person as guilty if he wasn't the defendant. That becomes a separate trial. This is true, but you know, they gotta streamline the process. It's already long. Gotta make the game playable. He needed to. Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. In Ace Attorney, they don't use innocent until proven guilty or guilty until proven innocent. They use guilty until someone else is proven guilty. I mean, it technically works in a roundabout way, I suppose. You accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. I've watched too many lawyers play this game. I mean, I love seeing reaction content too. People with the actual job being like, huh? It's funny. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Oh yeah, his sprite is so cool. Chief Gant, you did it. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. That breakdown is still the best. It's so good. Gant's just like, yes. Top tier. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? Screwdriver. What does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here?
It's here because... Ah! Oh, Edgeworth, we use it to pry this case open, absolutely. I was asked to go, by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office.
No, that was a good one. I like that one.
In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office.
But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to.
You mean You were a dead man Uber driver, let's go.
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car.
Edgeworth is guilty! Accomplice!
I'm honestly shocked that he didn't smell the blood. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation.
Or hear anything during the ride, yeah. No, nothing in the, yeah, speed bumps, yeah. Maybe he's just a super careful driver, but even so, it's like, to not notice there's a corpse in your trunk, that's kind of crazy.
To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Scott. Order. What is going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office.
A super careful driver who owns a sports car. It's just for show. Can you imagine Edgeworth speeding? That's against the law.
This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite.
It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something.
I believe your time's up.
My time's up?
Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special.
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
So you're going to just run away after all of this?
Run away?
Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now.
Well,
You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police.
Yeah, Gant put up advice. Don't use the phrase weapons at my disposal when you're nearing a murder conviction. That's so true. He's just making the hole deeper.
This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright. Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of the body. Do I have any concrete proof? I never noticed how often you say that's so true, 'cause it is. Do I have proof? Nope.
feel like I don't. I don't think I do. I don't have proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, G? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? No! Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto? It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, G, I'll leave the rest to you. No! No! I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Wah! Unless... Lady Luck. Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Maya, come on in, I wish. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Call Goodman's spirit, she should. Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth. Defendant. The defendant. Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Bro, he's literally blackmailing her in front of the entire court. What is this? That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Wow, not sus at all. That's what I'm saying. This guy kind of crazy. Very subtle. Like, come on, man. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Your sister will be found guilty for crimes to art with that awful drawing. Only one of her many crimes. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. You're just gonna let that slide? February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. No! Oh yeah, sorry about that. The judge was just a Clarkson meme. Oh no, anyway. So sad. He's just gonna let it go. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office! My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that time-knotted girl you used to work with. What do you mean? Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again! How does he always get the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Yippee! We get gummy, let's go! Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said.
But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that?
Okay, Phoenix, I know you've worked with a creepy amount of teenage girls, but it should be clear he's talking about Maya. She's the only one with the top knot. Male or female. It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true.
You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her.
What do you mean?
What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do.
That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this.
That's right, it is time to end this. Let's go. February 25th, 2:21 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 9.
Only a bit more than a week later than planned. It's fine. We're ending it now.
Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Gotta go now. I'll see you in your next live and on Discord. Merry Christmas. Oh, Merry Christmas! I do not have the Discord thing. I totally forgot to make a command, but I can send you the invite. It's on my about page, but I can also send the link. Here you go. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Also, this isn't fair. This game's way longer than the next Layton game. Oh, really? I don't know. With how long I get stuck on puzzles, we'll see. Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
It's because of this case. I mean, you know, it happens.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. Let's go. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself.
Lana, whatever happens, I'll never change my occupation.
When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Bro, no one's gonna believe that.
Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! This is true, and that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the very beginning.
Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
What if she's telling the truth? Oh, Phoenix.
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Okay, let's ignore all this and move on to the actual testimony for real. Speak, Lana.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Okay. Alright, let's see. You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes. Also just my opinion, but Lana is a really annoying character. No, I agree with you completely. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
Huh? Excuse me?
What?
But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
That is so. What happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Ah, I have the hiccups.
Lana, shut up. You're just holding the trial. We want to finish the game. Literally, just actually talk, girl. Don't lie.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. At this point, I feel like it would just be easier to get her declared guilty, but no one wants that. At least not Phoenix and Edgeworth.
All just to protect me.
So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes.
You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body. But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. What? Pieces of the jar? You mean...
Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body.
So, when you first found the body, the jar was already...
Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle.
I see.
What's the matter, Emma? Apparently, the jar was shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling that there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Okay. The piece of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. 'Cause it said Emma on it? Do I just... Okay. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene when Neil Marshall was murdered. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain.
Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction? In my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threaten my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Oh. Does the blood spell out Leon? Bonus points if you get the reference. I know Danganronpa. Shouldn't it say, let's see. It was like 11037? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Quote unquote. 11037. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order. Your Honor, it would appear. Wait, you played Danganronpa? Yes. I didn't actually play the first game, but I watched the anime for the first game and read the manga for the first game, and then I played 2 and 3. Or 2 and V3, rather. More information is needed in regard to the jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Instantly likes you more. Yeah, I love Danganronpa. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. I got them all, you say? I don't know about that. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I was a chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Immediately noticed the blood traces, but it was dark and I didn't have time. I wiped away the blood, the fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. Do I just present it again? Cause like... I'm just gonna try. Yeah, okay. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of the jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? Third time's the charm. I'm just gonna keep presenting this until, like, the reality just gets hammered into her brain. Listen, this jar is sus. I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. Yeah, another piece of evidence we obtained illegally! Apparently we're gonna be punished to the full extent of the law later, according to Edgeworth, so big sad. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Huh, can you believe that? Sir? Honestly, my guess was that the one piece slid under a couch or something. Yeah, it could have, like, slid somewhere and just stayed hidden from sight until Gant found it someday. He was like, oh, well, gonna put this in my safe. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that.
There's no way a name could have been written on the shattered jar.
That man should not be a judge. He needs to retire.
Another person discovered the seed prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! He tried. He really tried. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here.
Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called?
Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet.
Ow! No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Ayo? Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. Emma has hair bun as well. She's also top knot buddy. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Bro. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe right after all.
What do you mean, right?
So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't.
There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth.
Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. All right. The witness may testify once more for the final time. Actual crime scene! When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword.
You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof.
Actually, I do have proof.
Picture?
I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. Ayo! Ayo! Is it in here? Is it in here? Huh? Picture? Huh?
We're looking for a picture of the crime scene from 2 years ago, huh?
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again.
It's something... Want the answer? Hang on. It's something she gave us. She gave us this.
Huh? Is it this?
No. Is it just the SL9 incident files?
There must be a picture in there somewhere.
Oh, I guess not. Okay. That she gave us this morning. Award ceremony photo. Take a closer look. This and this, but like, is it just this? What am I looking for? Is it just this? So can't see your mouse if you're pointing at something? It's just like the sword. Look at the background. The sword and the vase. Is that what we're looking at? Just the sword and the vase? I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. Yes? Okay, cool. This? There must be a picture in here somewhere. Yes. Yes? How do I just present it? It won't let me present anything. Huh? Oh, okay. Now it's, aha. The vase that flew in the air and the suit of armor he got killed on, yeah. But I think the actual picture's in here. Can I please... Can I open this? You were wrong, Pain. It's okay. Can I open this, please? I see something right there. Please let me... Aha. Oh my gosh. Hey, there's a picture in here. Yo, who ate your shirt? Oh my. You were actually wrong. It's okay. It's been a while. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Note to self, be less confident next time. It's okay. It's okay. We got the photo.
Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this?
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
Emma? What? But those fingerprints...
They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay, when I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on a suit of armor. Ooh. He's back! Come now, Wudgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
Chief can't.
What, now you want to make me out as a bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
You can't.
I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort.
This must be that risk we were talking about earlier.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't, but someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt.
Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Yes. Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence. All right, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the Chief's. Now then, let us see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
Sorry, Emma.
It's a piece of leather cloth. Yes, it's most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest.
What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword.
What? Whose fingerprints are on this?
I'm sure Righto has checked, haven't you?
Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's. Miss Emma Sky's. What? They're mine? So I really did do it.
See? I told you it was conclusive.
But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that?
But...
Give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death.
No. It appears we have our killer. No! No! Oopsie. Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana alone was found guilty on all accounts. No! Gotta speedrun this again. I took the L. What did I do? I guiltied her. Why? To see the ending. What happened? I said Emma guilty, cause handprint. I presented the handprint and they were like, oh, well, I guess that's it. She's guilty. Blistering idiot. No, I wanted to see the ending. Rearrange crime scene. I should have saved, though. I should have saved. Hold to protect me. Broke off the tip of the knife and planted it inside the wound and then moved the body. Wow, how dare you, Lana? How dare you? Why did you move the body? I did not save. No, I didn't. Speed run time. The pieces of the jar, yes. Jar. Take the jar. Jar 1. Name couldn't have been written. No, how could you? Something critical. Testify again. Jar. Jar 2. Blood traces. I wiped the blood. Yes, you did. You did wipe the blood, but not all the blood. Immediately noted, but it was dark. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I got them all. No, you didn't. Jar 2. Give it up for Jar 2. Big pieces of jar. Can you answer? No, no, he can't. And then he broke the jar, took a piece, hid it in his safe. Very nice. That he did. Bite the finger, ouchie. Oh, I'm so evil because I'm a defense attorney. Miss Sky, testify again, tell the truth. Wow, what is this? Actual crime scene? No way. While you're working on getting back, any fun stories to tell? Fun stories. Not really that I can think of. My life is very repetitive. Not much happens. Picture. This. Give me photo. Whee! We're getting there. Aha, okay, we're here. Actual crime scene. Alright, here we are. I'll remember to save this time, but like, you know. Yippee! You just exploded a little bit. Someone does. Alright, I'll save right here. Perfect. Someone does. Uh-huh, yeah, Righto, he's got evidence. Yeah, Righto has all the evidence. Cannot. Nope. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
What? You lie.
Chief Gant.
You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence.
I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it, and that's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area?
Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. He ate it. Yum yum.
Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her?
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, then when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Skye. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you.
2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why?
For insurance, of course.
Insurance?
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence?
What do you take me for, fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. Didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say that you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Oh. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant. That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe.
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late.
I did, and I got flamed for it. Wah! It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Oh my gosh, they're making me do it again! I have learned. Alright. What happens if we show it? Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. I don't think this is right. She saves. I did save. I don't think this is right, but we're gonna go for it. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh yes. At last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean? It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho! You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Rido had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that.
Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Yeah. Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. Alright, I guess it's fine. The person to whom these fingerprints belongs to is... Emma Skye.
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Well, gee, you weren't around for most of this trial. Oh ho ho ho! You're really something, Rido. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Skye.
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Please. Miss Skye, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet. Huh, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposefully concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. We once again emphasize the trial of Bruce Goodman. Yes, Emma, totally the murderer of Bruce Goodman, who this trial is for. No one forgot. No one. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? Why is that so hard to say? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? Contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Huh? Okay, I don't know what Phoenix wants here. I mean, I assume it's the photo. We'll go for it. What exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, the shirt is showing underneath. Oh wait, I see, it's the blood. Yeah, okay, I see. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on the cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time.
No, this is nonsense.
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside.
He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out.
If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword?
Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it.
Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer.
No!
It's finally all over. He looks like he's so sad.
Oh, ho, ho, ho! That was close, Rido. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations.
What do you mean you refute his allegations?
You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
Homie? Order. What nonsense is this?
Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you?
Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair!
Ho, 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 ho! Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? Probably no, but I will save again, because now I'm paranoid. No, sir! I admit I refused to present it at one point.
Aha! So the evidence is illegal!
No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean, you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, Wudgie, don't listen to his lies.
You gotta watch the VOD for the ending, you're too tired. Oh, it's okay. Thank you for coming, Aremla. I appreciate it. Good night.
He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. The evidence law. Take that! This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more.
What?
You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial.
And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
Sorry, but can you recall? When was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago.
No! He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh, yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you! I can't. Ugh, that was too much.
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman.
Detective Goodman?
Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decides to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said,
"It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall."
Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. He had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worried so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake.
The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker.
I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in the car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will.
Grrr. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this?
Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take.
So, you left the jar fragments and the glove.
Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. Gotta hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same.
Bro, if you hate criminals, do you hate yourself, sir?
One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Wudgy.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are long gone now, Wudgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Righto here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning.
There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence, up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop it! I only did my job.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Not guilty! Yippee! That is all. This court is adjourned. February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around while on duty? And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Lana.
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't.
Emma,
I owe you an apology.
it's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis! I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself. But I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma.
No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it's from there that we can move on towards a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe,
Me?
thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
Edgeworth?
Stop hiding and come over here.
Where was he hiding? I just came to say, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right. Well, I'll be going now.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth!
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What? Yeah. What is this, a pop quiz?
Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about.
Evidence, huh? I don't know what it is!
Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. This? That's the picture I drew! Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's time for me to go.
Mr. Edgeworth.
If you'll excuse me, there's still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor.
Edgeworth! What'll you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you.
I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem.
Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court.
Farewell.
I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis! I will! And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself.
Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal.
Huh? What is it, Detective?
There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
But I thought you said it was okay.
Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story.
Huh?
Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh? Way to go, Detective! I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who will be footing the bill.
Huh? Huh?
What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream?
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Objection!
Let's go. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Congrats, good game, thank you! Was a good game. Yikes! I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. I love Gummy, he's so cute. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir! Then I can be just like that dick Gumshoe! If Gumshoe is what you want to be, it's not going to be that difficult, Meekins. Look at him go. Oh, no, he's dead! The Blue Badger returns. He's never truly gone. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with the steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Sure, dude. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Interesting. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing, something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. I love Udgy, but he is something. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming! Well, see you around, Nick. Maya! And Pearly, Yaz. Do we get to see Pearly next game, or is it the one after? I don't remember. No, I think it's next game. Game 2! We're gonna play Layton first, though. Layton first. Yeah, I think it's game 2 as well. Mr. Edgeworth.
Mr. Edgeworth. I brought you your tea. What's going on?
Uh-oh. Edgy gone. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Yo, I gotta open the book. That's cute. Yippee! Alright, that's it! Thank you guys so much for coming and joining me on this. Next week we're gonna be playing Professor Layton, as I have said. I made a promise and I intend to keep it. But for now, I think we will end stream because my voice is now dead. Thank you guys for coming. See you next time. Bye-bye!